guys so happy to see you.
Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
Nice
background.
Hey,
sir.
nice to see you.
So you look beautiful. Absolutely magnificent. Hey, Esther.
The Athena Project presents Homeless Network News Live, starring Caroline Manheimer, Corey Walton, Greg Tomzarek, Marvin Howard, Wanda Poston, Annette Bryant, Robert Blood, Sol Sepulveda, Tahiti Robinson, and Lurch.
A hearty welcome, America, and to all of our viewers. Welcome to the election edition of Homeless News Network. Now, as you all know, we are 12 days and counting down towards the 2020 election. It's right upon us. And there'll be winners and there'll be losers. And we at Zambia, like you, are excited about rocking the vote for our candidate of choice. By the way, during this whole episode, to you, our audience, we invite you to share all your thoughts throughout the program in our chat box. But in the election spirit, let's get right down to the first segment of our show. Welcome to Decision 2020, our annual crazy debate forum, the preferred interruption-free debate for many Americans every election cycle. Today, of course, for election 2020, we have candidates Robert, aka Roberto Flood, and Greg, aka T-Zac, Traumazak. Now, both candidates have agreed to debate the most hotly contested issues this election cycle, so let's get this show on the road. For the program, we received hundreds upon thousands upon millions, well, maybe not millions, but a lot of debate questions by way of Twitter. But in the interest of time, we have chosen 3 questions to ask our candidates that will hold their feet to the fire. So let's get right to those questions, shall we? Our first question comes from the great city of Minneapolis. She writes, "Dear candidates, as we all know, homeless is a year-round issue that affects a lot of citizens regardless of the time of the year, regardless of the season. And on the subject of seasons, I have a question for both of you candidates. Now, neither of you are on record as far as your position, summertime versus wintertime, and which season has the most appeal. So before I cast my ballot, I need to know, which season do both of you feel has the most appeal? Signed, yours truly, Miss Autumn Springs. Candidate Traumazak, you have the floor first."
Thank you. Well, I guess my favorite season is winter, and it's already here. And who knows, it starts at Halloween this year and could end in Easter next year. You never know. And fall's beautiful, all the beautiful colors, but the whiteness spreading over, blanketing the universe here. And
What's your
skiing,
point?
and skating, and sledding, and, excuse me? And,
No interruption. This is an interruption-free forum. Go ahead, Candidate Traumazak. I'm sorry.
Well, all the activities that are involved with this season are just wonderful. And snow, you can never have too much snow, unless, of course, you're living outdoors in a tent, which is not a good place to live. So when I'm elected, I promise to bring those folks inside, give them some places where they can have safe distancing, warmth, places to wash and clean and sleep and be amongst themselves.
Wow. Candidate Traumazak.
I support this message.
Candidate Traumazak, your argument is absolutely riveting. One might say hypnotic. But Candidate Flood, you now have the floor to make your point.
Yeah, hypnotic put me to sleep too, but.
And I promise I won't interrupt you, yeah.
It's definitely summertime. I mean, look, you got people that can sleep outside who are afraid to go to shelters, who don't feel it's a safe place. Yes, our homeless population explodes in the summertime because of the public access to EBT, and Minnesota is known for being generous that way, but summertime for sure. Water sports, sun tanning. What can you say? Summer is it. And if I'm elected, watch out. Summer's going to be a blast.
Oh, watch out. Hey,
Oh,
the
yeah.
points you make are borderline soul stirring, almost dreamlike. But I tend to get carried away. On to our next question, and it comes from the great city of St. Paul. He writes, Dear candidates, my wife and I are baby boomers who grew up in the 60s. We listen to 60s music. But the difference in our musical taste has always been a point of contention between us. My wife insists Beatle music was the best music of the 60s, but I, however, say Rolling Stones were it. We are both still undecided voters, and this whole Beatles versus Stones thing could very well decide how we cast our ballots. So we need to know from both of you candidates, Beatles tunes or Stones music? Signed, Mr. Rock, middle initial N, Row. Candidate Blood, make your point.
We all know it's the Beatles. Come on. 4 musical geniuses. And the one thing I have to say about them is they came out with a song in the 60s, The Long and Winding Road. That to me is just saying whatever life throws at you, whatever curve, whatever wall they put in front of you, go through it, get to that door, because you're all worth housing. You're all worth having a place to live. So the Beatles, by far, hands down, the greatest ever.
Incredibly compelling. Indeed, downright intoxicating points you make. But candidate Trump, Zach, tell the voters your point of view.
Well, that was kind of a short and winding road, but I'll take it from here because the Stones, hey, that's Rolling Stones. You know, back in '69 when that song came out, Give Me Shelter, how could you avoid that one? You know, there was hobos and vagabonds and hippies living on the street. Most of them a lot of them by choice, but a lot of them didn't have a choice to where they were sleeping.
And
And
what
that's
was
the
your
same as
choice?
today. So, you know, ooh, the storm is threatening their very lives today. So if we don't give them some shelter, they're going to fade away, you know. So, and today's storms, Minnesota, like I say, it's snowing already. And there's the right wing and there's the COVID and, you know, unemployment, all kinds of stuff that preventing people from housing, and it's not a good thing. So,
Give
so
me shelter.
when
What
I'm
are you
elected,
saying?
the storm's going to go away, and I tell you, love sister, love Mister, love you all. It's just, I just vote for me, okay?
Wow, fantastic, Trump. I love the way you threw those lyrics in there as well. The points you made one day will probably be considered historic, solid as a rock made out of stone. But again, I get carried away. So on to our final Twitter question, which comes from Rochester. She writes, candidates, mask or no mask? Everyone seems to have an opinion about it these days. And with Halloween right around the corner, masks are becoming more relevant than ever. We all know that Batman and Superman are 2 of the most popular Halloween costumes of all time, but my coworker and I disagree on the issue as to which of these crime fighters is the greatest. Since we are both still undecided on who we will vote for, we need to know from each of you candidates, greatest superhero of all time, Batman, Robin. Signed, Faith Crusader. Candidate Traumazak, you have the floor first.
Well, the masks are always needed when you're a superhero of some kind, or just on the street these days. You need a mask. Let's not forget that. But not unlike myself, Batman, he does not possess any superhuman powers, you know. But in his day, he was one of the wealthiest 1%. But he
White
did
privilege.
use his income to promote programs for the support of the lower classes, and he paid taxes. And when I'm elected, I will do the same to maintain the health and welfare of the most vulnerable.
Very good. Thank you, candidate Traumazak. Your words are near genius-like, just dripping with intelligence, indeed. But alas, candidate Bud, what say you?
Well, I think there was a little misstatement here. It's not Robin, it is Superman, by the way. Superman is Robin is a sidekick for this guy over here. But Superman, and we're all talking about this immigration problem. This is the most renowned immigrant in the history. He came from another planet. He came here, made a life for himself, got a job, has a fiance, and is making his way. So let's not try to put this on the immigrants. The immigrants helped build this country. Yeah, all the way back to when, before we even knew what was going on in this country. So let's not bash the immigrants. Superman is the person to make that point.
That makes crazy sense. Candidate Blood, crazy sense, undeniably indeniable. Well, both candidates make strong arguments to support their positions, but in America, it's up to you to decide, Roberto or Tzak. Well, folks, unfortunately, I'm afraid that's all the time we have for Debate 2020 this year. We want to thank our candidates and all of you who tweeted those questions, and you, America. And remember, regardless of who you vote for, just remember to vote, vote, vote. Now, we're going to move on to our post-debate analysis, and we're going to call on we've gathered some undecided voters together and to get their opinions on some of the things they heard and whether or not they were swayed by any of these opinions. So we're going to start with, the young lady there who has her hand under her chin. She looks very interested. I think I read your name. I think yes, you, ma'am. Esther O. Just tell us where you're from and what you think. What's your opinion?
Well, I'm from Boston, Mass. And
I can tell.
it was a really hard choice. I'm like on the fence, but I gotta say that I think this argument about immigrants, I'm a second generation, and so I just gotta be loyal. I gotta stick with it. But I was wondering what that guy say. His hat says I can't breathe. I'm wondering if it's some kind of code or something.
Yes, that's interesting thoughts you shared there, Miss Esther O. from Boston. Yes, let's move on to some more of our undecided voters. Yes, I think the name says Annette. Tell us where you're from, Annette, and if anything you heard might sway your opinion.
Well, I'm from the world, so I'm just here. And I just want to say, this sounds like a lot of gibberish. And what does voting have to do with Superman and Batman? Come on, take the mask off. Let's get real quick.
Wow. Strong thoughts indeed. Strong thoughts indeed from the woman from the world. Let's move on to one of our another undecided voters. You, ma'am, I think Marvin Ward Jr. is what your name tag says. Tell us where you're from and what do you think?
Well, I'm from the suburbs of Chicago, so you might sometimes.
Oh, Bears.
I say Pop or God or
Absolutely.
But I thought both candidates did a real good job of pivoting to the real important issues of housing the homeless from whatever question you asked them that had nothing to do with anything. But when it comes down to it, I'm a single issue voter, and that's Wonder Woman. So I didn't hear anything about her.
A vote for Wonder Woman. We cannot forget Wonder Woman. One of my favorite of all time. Oh, I get distracted. Let's talk to maybe one more. Let's get one more of our undecided voters. You, ma'am, I think you're, what a beautiful name, Saul. So tell us where you're from and what you thought of what the candidate said.
I am from the beautiful island, tropical island of Puerto Rico, where it's nice and warm and sunny. Oh, however, I'm so sorry, but I think this debate is just so controversial for me to even comment on it. However, I do believe, and I strongly believe, that removing all those original masks is what's really essential. That's what's essential.
Absolutely. Well, undecided voters, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with me and with America. We're going to move on now because you just heard from both of the candidates, Blood and Traumazak. They both made strong. Excuse me, folks. I'm getting a word here. This can't be right. Ladies and gentlemen, this just in. The votes have been counted, and a surprising winner has emerged. Ladies and gentlemen, you might not believe this, but running independently under the proverbial radar, the winner, and let me make sure I got this right. Yes, I do. The winner, let me introduce to you your new president, Miss Tahiti Robinson, Madam President, a country awaits your acceptance speech. I'm sorry. The floor is yours. Oh, this is unbelievable. I can't believe this. This is absolutely unbelievable.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank God, who is the head of my life. And I thank you all, one and all. By being your new president, I will be honest at all times with you. And we will work all together because, like I say, we are all in this together. And any situation come up, we will work together. So that being said, I would like to announce our new vice president. Drum roll, please. No other than Vice President Corey Walton.
I'm overcome with emotion. Just continue with your speech, Madam President. I'll talk when you're done. I'm overcome with emotion. This is incredible.
You were supposed to be president, but they chose me. I would like you to know that I did some research with the leaders of every nation, every country, and every continent. And we had a very serious conversation about what's going on all over the world. And like I said before, we are all in it together. We can't deny what we see in front of our faces. Saying that, I put together a proposal using the 7 agreements of Zambia. Zambia meaning aiming for peace, and that's what we're aiming for, right? And every nation and every country and every continent agreed with these 7 agreements. So we all together decided that we would eliminate having a nation, a country, and a continent. We will now be called people of the planet Earth. That being said, I will now read the 7 agreements that we all decided. Number 1, remember why we're here. Number 2, notice our impact on ourselves, on others, and our community. Number 3, treat everyone equal. Number 4, assume good intentions. Number 5, cultivate an attitude of gratitude. Thank you. And number 6, stay focused and engage. And number 7, which we will do. Number 7 is have fun. Now, this will be our legal law, eliminating the independence of the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights. Now, I know this will take time, but I'm asking all of you people of the planet Earth to at least give this a try. And if you don't give it a try for at least 1 year, and if you don't see any reason why you can't follow this law, which I don't see why you couldn't, then you will be transferred. Those people that don't agree with these laws will be transformed to another planet. Now, there will be no love, no justice, no equal thing, and no fun. So with that being said, I'll end my speech with this statement. The planet Earth will be run by the people with love, peace, happiness, and with the help of God, and with the help of God. And I'll close with these words: to God be the glory.
Madam President, I am honored to serve by your side for the next 48 months. Oh, and 37 seconds is what it turns out to be. Thank you, Madam President, for that beautiful, soul-stirring, gut-wrenching speech. I'm going to try to carry on now. Thank you, Madam President. Oh, this is going to be an unbelievable 4 years. But for now, wait. Okay. On to another regular part of our HNN News, our go-around segment. This week, the thought is, I'm afraid of losing. And again, we join you to throw your comments in the chat box with all of our Zambi members as they express what are they afraid of losing. Me, I'm afraid of losing my patience sometimes.
I am afraid of losing my house.
I'm afraid of losing myself because that's all I've ever had.
I'm afraid of losing all hope for the future.
Afraid of losing my health.
I'm afraid of losing my mind.
I'm afraid of losing my legal ability to marry my partner.
Instead of saying I'm afraid of, I want to say I don't desire to lose any of my friends and family.
I'm afraid of losing my stability during election season.
I'm afraid of losing this democracy.
I'm afraid of losing my apartment because where would I go?
I'm afraid of the new normal.
I'm afraid of losing my identity.
I'm afraid of losing because I'm a winner.
I'm afraid of losing access to clean water.
I don't desire to lose my community.
I'm afraid of losing certain friendships.
I'm afraid of losing my grandchildren's future.
I'm afraid of losing my resources because that's the only source of income that I have.
I'm afraid of losing my freedom.
I'm afraid of losing my place in line.
I'm afraid of losing nothing.
I'm afraid of losing your respect.
I don't desire to lose my sight.
And I'm afraid of losing track of what's going on here in the world. That'll never happen as long as we have segments like dun, 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 Headline News.
And once again, for today's old news, not new news, heads you win, tails I lose. Looks like it's going to be the same old news.
Poor people lose all the time.
Dang it, it's a two-sided head coin.
Poor people with diabetes up to 10 times likelier to lose limbs than wealthier patients.
My leg! Parents losing children for being too poor.
Poor people lose. Gideon and the Critique of Rights.
Poor people lose in American criminal justice, not because they have ineffective lawyers, but because they are selectively targeted by police, prosecutors, and lawmakers. See, I know that feeling. They might as well call me Tarzan.
Marvin, we're doing the news. Marvin, we're doing the news.
My bad.
Lobbying and policy change. Who wins, who loses, and why?
Poor people have few, if any, lobbyists, while citizen groups are well represented on environmental and healthcare. The poor have few advocates.
Under Trump, millions of poor lose access to cell phone service.
Hello? Hello?
Marvin,
Can you hear me now?
News. Marvin, hey, Marvin.
Let me call you right back. What we have to lose, everything Trump has cost Black America in 4 years. I see you smiling.
Low income and younger adults hardest hit by loss of income during COVID-19.
Poor Americans hit hardest by job losses amid COVID-19.
The poor lose out again on stimulus payments.
Loss of housing was the nail in the coffin for Hamilton man found dead on Jackson Square roof.
Hamilton, like a Broadway actor after Broadway shut down?
Oh, no, Esther. A guy who, it was just a homeless guy who lived in Hamilton, jumped off the square roof.
Heads, the rich win. Tails, the poor lose.
Are you still asking what we got to lose?
Trump's 2021 budget would cut 1.6 trillion from low-income programs.
Trump's 2021 budget will worsen homelessness, critics say.
Trump's 2020 budget plan included slashes to public housing and other programs that could increase homelessness. The budget proposes funding cuts to homeless assistance grants, the Public Housing Operating Fund, Family Self-Sufficiency Program, and housing counseling assistance. Trump budget cuts amounts to a homeless plan, advocates say.
You mean his plan will increase homelessness? Man, that's messed up. Man, look, if you don't vote, you lose. You lose the right to complain.
Vote like your life depends on it.
Because mine does. Mine does.
Boy, I love the news. You might say, America, that I am a news junkie. A big thanks to Esther O and Marvelous Marvin Howard for that informative installment of Headline News. Now let's flip the script and go to part 2 of our go-around segment. Previously, we asked, I'm afraid of losing. Now we are asking, I'm afraid of winning. And again, we invite our audience members to drop comments in our chat box. What are you afraid of winning? I'm afraid of winning the lottery and having all that money.
I'm afraid of winning when someone else has to lose because I win.
I'm afraid of winning because I'm so used to just losing that I wouldn't know what to do if I won.
I am not afraid to win.
I'm afraid of winning no freedom to choose.
I'm afraid of winning a married man's heart.
I'm afraid of winning privileges from a racist system.
What is winning and losing? What is that?
Afraid of winning and having the victory be short-lived.
I'm afraid of winning the right to carry a weapon that could just mass murder people. Oh, wait a minute. I already have that right.
So
I'm afraid of winning because that only means someone else has to lose.
I am not afraid to win.
I'm afraid of winning, but what would I lose as a result?
I'm afraid of winning a lot of junk.
I'm afraid of winning and not living up to the win.
We're all winners.
I'm afraid of winning and becoming complacent.
I'm a little afraid of winning that house on the coast of Maine that do that sweepstakes, but it sure would be great.
I'm afraid of winning because I'm afraid of inflation, because a lot of people get all inflated when they win in the game of life.
I am not afraid to win.
I'm afraid of winning too much responsibility.
I'm afraid of, why am I afraid? I don't know why.
I'm afraid of winning the same old corrupt, oppressive system.
I'm not afraid of winning.
Annette, why aren't you afraid to win?
Well, we can all create what we want. We're all winners. Let's join in. Robert, why are you not afraid to win?
Because when you've lost what I've lost in my life, everything that you have should be won. So never be afraid to win.
Roberto and Annette, thank you for sharing those thoughts with us. Winners and losers, folks. This is election season. We could carry this conversation on for hours. I'm afraid, looking at the clock on the wall, it's time for our one-word checkout, folks. Yes, I know. Unfortunately, we have reached the end of our election edition of Homeless News Network. But in typical Zambia fashion, we will end this affair with our one-word checkout from each of our Zambia members. I'll go first. Hope.
Vote.
Beginnings.
Vote.
Vote 3 times.
Winning.
Change.
Celebration.
So what do you think, Corey? What are we going to go out on, buddy?
Let's go out on change. Hands in the middle, everyone. Change. Thank you, Zam fam members. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to both our candidates, Madam President Tahiti Robinson, for our behind-the-scenes Zamtastic producer, Rebecca Noon, and Tech Lurch, and of course, all of you. And remember to visit and like our Facebook page and stop by our website at zambiatheater.org and sign up for our quarterly newsletter. And also join in our weekly workshops Tuesdays at 3 p.m. You can access those by a link on our Facebook page. In the meantime, we'll see all of you next time on the Homeless News Network. Remember, vote, 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 vote.
Vote.
Very good.
I want to see if Tahiti needs any support or assistance or anything with her presidential speech, or you feel like you're
President.
Mrs. President.
I've already started, writing, and as of now, but if I get stuck, all your
Already at it.
but I've already written it. I've started writing on it, and how long should it be? That's how I want to know.
An hour. No, just